morning and welcome to Dateline New Haven, WNHH Radio, your home for community radio 103.5 FM. I'm Paul Bass, inviting you to look behind the headlines on the stories that make New Haven tick. Nothing ticks better than Pundit Friday, which is begin here in the WNHH studio at the number one pundits in the media universe. We got pundits like the dairy-free goddess of our grassroots radio operation, the belle of our ball, the managing editor of the Inner City News and host of Love Babs, Love Talk. Babs Rawls-Ivy, good morning, Babs.
Good morning, darling.
Good morning.
Your Zsa Zsa Gabor voice this morning. Yeah.
We've got the flyest news hunter-gatherer this side of Fleet Street, leader of the Literati, star New Haven independent reporter Markeisha Ricks.
I got all my New Haven things on today. Shout out to Jackie Buster.
The queen of quippery, quintessence of compassion, love, La Voz Hispano love, publisher Norma Rodriguez-Reyes.
Hello, Norma.
Hola.
Behind the controls, WNHA station manager, Heavy D, Donald Trump devotee, and
The Wizard of Oz.
Mueller's pasta fan, Harry Droz.
Harry Droz.
And Deep Breath.
Here we go.
The pre-ordained pastor and prophet of paradise, DJ Deliverance, Filio Force of Fortuitous Fomentation, Ouster of Obstinance and Ostentation, Savior Civility, Hurricane of Heavenly Homilies, the Conqueror of Cannabis Commerce, the Bright Light in the New Haven, Night Straight Shooter from Bermuda, Mystical, Metaphorical, Man on the Money, Tackler of Tempestuousness, Titan of Temperance, Banisher, Bilious, Bullies, Prince of Pleasantries and Punctuality, Sorcerer, Scientific Solution, Blessed Beatboxer of Banksters and Bacchanalians, Just-in-Time Judge of Jackals and Jabri, Righteous Reaper of Restitution, Sentinel, Serenity, Sincerity, and Salvation, Poobah of Unparalleled Political Passion and Perspicacity, the Griot of the Grassy Knoll, Joe Ugly of Joe Ugly in the Morning. Good morning, everybody.
Babs, don't you roll your eyes?
No.
Cut it short.
Never I.
So, folks, I know we like to
Morning.
mix it up and laugh and have a good time as we talk about the top stories in New
Not
Haven.
going to have a good time? Uh-oh.
No, today we got something serious to talk about. It's very serious. And there was
That
a big
sounds
debate
somber.
in the New Haven Independent this week about a big story that gets to the heart of questions of justice, fairness, life and death, dollars and cents, freedom.
Dollars and cents.
Is this about a
democracy.
bike lane?
Even bigger deal than that.
Oh.
Because there's nothing bigger than bike lanes.
So
I'm
I thought
saying.
maybe we can even go into this debate a little bit and see what you folks think. Maybe read some of the comments people wrote. Not a lot of them, just a flavor.
Mhm.
Because what happened, something huge happened this week. I know there were things like the Mueller report and war and famine and, they're bombing in Syria.
Mhm.
But here in New Haven, there was a guy running for mayor who brought his guitar to Bella Vista. Of all places, imagine looking for votes at Bella Vista.
I
Never
knew
heard
he
that
was
before.
going there. I knew it.
And his
I
name
knew
is
it.
Justin Elliker, and he's talking to seniors about why he thinks they should vote for him as he's running for mayor. And he brought his guitar,
Got to talk to the
and he
seniors.
played 3
They
songs, and he did a sing-along. Hey, folks, let's all sing along. Sing with me. He sang John Denver's Country Roads, Benny King, Stand By Me, and what was the third one?
I don't know. Can you tell me
Paul
how to get
Simon.
to Sesame Street?
Me and hey, I love
No, this
Sesame
was
Street.
seniors.
Me and Julio down by the schoolyard.
I
And they were
remember.
singing with them. 1, 2, 3 with feeling. So, obviously, when a story of this momentous comes out, the independent readers have a lot to say about it.
Oh, I'm
They
excited for these comments.
They debated this more, and they debated the murder that took place in the Hill that they solved. So, let's read some of the comments that people posted about Justin Elliker singing those 3 songs at Bella Vista. Would you like to start off, Baz, with telling us what some of our readers wrote?
Yeah. Posted by 1644.
Oh, you skipped one?
Oh, wait.
There's one right above
Oh!
it.
Living in New Haven on May 30th. Is he serious? Did you see my eye roll?
Well,
I
for the
did.
people who are listening, Babs, you have to tell them that your
eye
eyes are rolling.
Eye roll. But so many people were texting saying we're watching. Eye roll.
What does 1644 have to say about this?
Living. Did you have the same reaction when Bill Clinton played saxophone on late night TV?
Yes.
As reported here, the discussion consisted of serious answers to serious questions.
All right. I remember do you remember what show Bill Clinton played the saxophone on
Arsenio
when he ran
Hall.
for
Arsenio
And it
Hall.
got canceled right after. Let's remember that.
Maybe it was the saxophone solo.
Or maybe it's because Fox owner Rupert Murdoch was like, buddy.
You know what? Fox News is messy because They will give us Arsenio Hall, and they will give us
that wasn't
like
Fox News. It was
power.
Fox.
No, it wasn't Fox News.
I mean, Fox. The
Yeah.
station is messy. Is what I'm sorry.
That's
I said
true.
Fox News,
They're
but they're
breaking
the
it
same
up,
people
yeah.
who give us Fox News as well as Arsenio
Yes,
Hall.
thank
They're
you.
like, we know where our money is.
Well, as soon as they got the
And
NFL,
they will give us what's the show? The show that's on now. That's about to end. The Jussie Smollett show.
Oh, okay.
I want to
yeah,
say
Empire.
Empire.
Yes.
Because they're like, black people watch TV. They might not watch Fox News, but they watch the rest of our station.
But they
So
pulled it
Marquise,
as soon as
do
they
you
got.
want to see some other readers had to say
Sure.
Justin Ellicker's performance at Bella Vista?
Sure. Beaver Hill said, maybe next time a bit more diversity in the song choices. Country Roads just seems like a weird choice for the vibrant diversity community Justin wants to lead.
I gotta say, when I saw that one, I said,
Uh-oh.
"Oh man!"
It's like, here we go.
I mean,
Here
I
we
live in
go.
Beaver Hills, but that wasn't me.
Joe, what did so Beaver Hills said that they wasn't
1644
diverse enough?
had time.
What did 1644 have to say back to Beaver Hills, Joe?
1644 had time. that day.
1644, Beaver Hills. Okay. The audience is almost white. It's mostly white. Ooh. The audience is mostly white and all old. So he played
All
old songs. All old.
Ouch.
I know, that was really a hard hit. So he played old songs, of which one was by the black man, King. What?
Benny King.
Benny King.
He's black.
He is black.
Okay. And one by an Anglo-Saxon German-American
You
Denver.
skip one.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, white Jew.
Oh, one by a white Jew.
Paul Simon.
You know, white Jew is an interesting phrase.
Yeah.
I know, because there are Ethiopian Jews.
And also, Jews weren't considered white until we joined the meritocracy and stopped marching to get into restaurants and theaters.
Mm.
And one by an Anglo-Saxon
That white
German
issue to
American
take on and
Denver.
off is interesting. Woo.
And one by an Anglo-Saxon and German American Denver, meaning John Denver, all of which should have been known by this audience.
So everything that happens in this race for mayor gets put under this lens of race.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
hard to talk
yeah.
about race, like some of the nonsense from the week before with the ad. And it's interesting. So this person, Beaver Hill, says, you know, well, what's this white guy singing just this in this vibrant city? Why are you singing John Denver? And then 1644 comes back and researches the ethnicity of everyone. Said, well, he did a white guy who's Jewish, he did a German American,
It's
and
like
he
he's
did a
basically
black
saying
man.
he did diversity. He checked all the boxes.
Norma,
He didn't
what-
sing in Spanish though. So
Beaver Hills came back, Norma. and
Yes,
went
he
back to-
did. 1644.
And by the way, Beaver Hills, I'm pretty sure, is white because only a white person would raise this in the name of black people, I think. But
I think you're right.
I don't think the song choices are inappropriate for the audience at Bella Vista, but watching the video here feels weird to me. Him singing Country Roads just play up to racial dimensions of the mayoral race, which I'm sure was not his aim. The song also values rural over urban living. I'm all for fun and singing songs that will resonate with your audience, but I think another choice could have worked for that aim.
so you think singing Take Me Home Country Roads, first of all, don't black people live in rural areas too?
they do,
I
and
don't
they
get
like
that.
country music.
I like John Denver. I liked John Denver.
Yeah, he was good too.
Take me home,
Country Roads.
You only
To
know that
the
song because they
place
played it
where
so
I
much on KC101 when we were kids.
West Virginia, my
And then I only know it
mama.
because you know those like albums that those album compilations
Yeah,
that they used to
exactly.
advertise on
Right.
like Time magazine. Used to, like,
K-Tel,
yeah,
yeah.
No,
exactly.
John Denver used to have a variety show on CBS. I loved it.
Yeah, I liked it too. Sweet. So Babs,
What did Alex
the
say?
debate goes on. I thought Alex had an interesting point.
New Haven answers to better or broke.
And Babs, I want to give you the honor of the 3/5
You know, I
comment.
That's it.
That's it.
this is where
Hold on.
karma. I wonder what song Mayor Hart will sing. My bad, I found it. Gentrification Town.
That's just some white folky in Portland singing.
And he
about
does it on
Gentrification.
acoustic guitar.
Okay.
I think 3/5 does the best web searches. I'm just saying.
He also has time.
He has time.
It's better. It's
Oh,
getting
does it?
better weighed into this debate. You want to tell us,
Hmm?
Markeisha, what it's
Oh.
better, getting better said?
Oh, there's
What?
more. Oh, okay. It's getting better. Says Toots does a better version of Country Roads than John Denver, in my humble opinion.
So this is a song that got reinterpreted by a reggae band.
Well, every
Understood.
song is reinterpreted by a reggae band.
That's
Everyone.
true. Even
Very
Carpenters.
true.
Did you notice they even do the Carpenters in reggae?
Yeah, I mean they do every
Reggae's
song.
like we can make anything
You
reggae.
know
Joe-
why? Because they got the rhythm The rhythm. It's all about the rhythm.
Joe, you want to bring it
That's
home
right.
with Bill Saunders because he had the last word.
Clearly, the only fair way to settle this
Yeah, the best last
is with
word
an
too.
epic
Shout out to
rap
Bill.
battle.
I'm here for that.
agree.
I'm here. Listen.
No, I want it to be a lip sync battle, and maybe we could get LL Cool J and Chrissy Teigen to come officiate.
Or New Haven.
It could be on
LL
the
Cool
green.
J and Chrissy Teigen.
And
Who
I
would
need
locally do that
I
for
need
us?
somebody to do I need the mayor to do Lizzo, and I need Justin maybe to do a little maybe. You know what?
Maybe a little Prince.
Prince. I feel
I
like
think he could do Prince.
Who do I need? Give me some help here.
For Justin to do?
Yes, maybe a little Justin Timberlake and
No.
because you got to recreate the video with all the dances and stuff.
Despacito.
Yes,
So bottom line, folks.
How about House of Pain?
because he
What's
got to
the
work
bo-
on that tortilla.
What's the bottom
aisle,
line?
'cause-
Does race have anything to do with Justin Elliker singing Country Roads Stand By Me, which I think was one of the great songs ever, Stand By Me, and Me and Julio, another great song.
I just don't see it. I mean, I think that's a reach. I think the race thing is a reach. I don't see it.
I just see him trying to be relatable, and it's like, cut to do some slack.
I mean, if he would have said, who, if he's saying it like Ted Nugent, right? Because he's squarely in the Trump psychosis.
But you can't sing Ted Nugent, you got to scream.
But that's what I mean.
And
Like,
then you'd upset all
if
those
he would have
seniors.
picked something like
Or
that,
Kid Rock,
or Kid Rock, I'd have been like, okay, where you going with this?
Beastie
Right.
Boys.
I would
whoa.
Beastie
No.
Boys. I would have
I would
enjoyed that.
I would have enjoyed
personally.
that.
I would have enjoyed that.
So people
Little House
No
of
forget.
Pain.
slip to New Haven.
People forget that Tony Harp in 2014 was a karaoke heroes on Crown.
That's
And
right.
she did duet that we have video of Unforgettable by Nat King Cole in a duet with Top
Great
Dixel Cop
classic.
Sam Brown. Lucy Gelman got that video.
Man,
And she also did a wonderful recitation of the Romeo.
I saw
line
that.
We got that
I thought
video
she was
too,
really good
from
for that.
Shakespeare. So I think we got two people
Who
running for
wanna be
mayor
relatable. They want to be seen as humans.
who really feel comfortable behind a microphone and feel.
Well, they need
a
to fund
little-
arts a little better then, since they're so artistically inclined.
Lucy
Just-
Gelman is working on stories to see where the candidates stand.
But where's the money going to come from? That's the issue.
That too. I'm hoping she's asking that question.
Well, you know,
well,
maybe they
Andy-
could charge covers for all this singing and
Yeah.
dancing they're doing.
Andy Wolf, the cultural czar in Tony Harp's administration, has a staff of one himself. When he came to town, she said, "Here's your mission. You're going to do a lot more stuff than we used to do with arts and culture, and you're going to get no money. Every month you can come with something and get people come to the table and bring the money and bring the in-kind." He did this whole opera festival. Not a cent. You know, we did do police overtime, but he gets Yale, he gets other corporations to put money up, he gets groups to put their people on the ground to man it, and I think that might be the answer.
Okay.
All right.
I'm with you.
But the question is, what are you listening to? The answer is Pundit Friday. WNHH 103.5
On the
FM,
country
live stream,
roads.
independent-
The
live stream,
country roads of New
103.5,
Haven.
live stream, independent.org. Okay, so we
The
did have some.
potholed roads of New Haven.
There were some issues with
Messy.
people losing jobs or positions getting eliminated this week. They're still trying to figure out how to get rid of millions of dollars of deficit at the school board. So they're going to eliminate all sorts of teaching positions, but they're trying not to get any people to lose their jobs. They want to
And people
just
seem
move them to
confused
other-
about that in the
Yeah.
comments. Like nobody was losing their jobs. They were losing positions and being sent to other schools. Like nobody's being fired.
I think
at
the
this
education
stage.
problem is with the folks with the peoples.
So
Well,
like
I mean,
I get
the-
people being upset. Like you've been.
There
at a
might
school
be
for a long
layoffs,
time.
but they're
there
doing-
might be, but they're
but
trying
first
to
they're
avoid
saying-
those.
yeah.
They are trying. So like the fact that people are so mad immediately, like the comment section was crazy on that story.
with teachers.
Even though I thought, Chris did a great job of
Chris Pete.
writing that story.
Chris Pete is my new hero. I'm not
He just-
kidding you.
I need
Yeah.
a T-shirt with his
He
face
made
on
it real straight in the lead. At this point,
He
they're not saying
did.
anyone's losing a
And
job.
so I don't understand why people immediately
Because they didn't
jumped-
read it. They jumped at the headlines.
But you know what? I was disappointed in the comments from the teachers in the story because they seemed to jump to that conclusion as well. Unless they know something that they weren't telling us, I was like,
Why don't you get Norman? Why don't you get the mic?
well, they
here?
were there and they went to this meeting because they got called to this meeting.
But that's how normally you take care of deficits is by attrition, people leaving and those positions not being filled.
And I think they've done as much
and
of that
that's
as they
exactly
can do.
what they're doing with these 52 positions. These 50
These
people
are positions
aren't
that are
really
being-
in there right now.
No, these are positions that are being eliminated, as I understand that positions that there are people in them, but they're like they were asked. And this is the other issue that I have, not with any of the reporting or even any of the comments, is that there seemed to be a communication problem. And in fact, this time it wasn't the school system's problem. it seems like there wasn't any principal level communication with people. Look, like they've been working on this plan since the winter, and it was a school level plan. The district said, look, you need to give us your bottom line. Instead of saying this is your number for the year, they're saying, look, we have to eliminate positions. You got to get this number down. What is like essential, but like if you didn't have it, you could get by without it. And so they knew they could have told them, but I guess they didn't want to interfere with, how the school year shakes out. If we tell people somebody's going to be leaving here next year and going somewhere else in the school district. So there's that. And then at the union level didn't seem to have communicated to people that this was under like a thing that was happening. So people still felt blindsided. So I feel really bad for teachers who felt like this came out of the blue. I'm glad it's happening at the end of the year and not the beginning of the school year, which would be terrible.
Which is when the layoffs might happen.
And well, yeah, that's true. That's unfortunate. And I don't know if this is going to make people want to be like, oh, let me look for a new job over the summer.
I think people are always looking for new. I think people are already. You have got to be in that brain.
Especially principals. Now, the 5th principal of the year announced that she's leaving for another district. Mm-hmm. And she's popular, Shante Smith at Edgewood. 5 years, pretty good tenure for a principal, by the way. I mean, not in the old days, but new days. 5 years, doing a good job at a tough school to manage. The parents are very involved there. You're on scrutiny. People like her.
Why is that a tough
She's
school?
going to Greenwich. No, I'm saying that when parents are involved, that's good.
I know what you're saying.
That's good, but you're also watched more, and they all disagree with each other about what they want. So a lot more demands on you when you're being watched. You do a better job because the parents care more.
That's a good thing. You know what?
Yeah.
I want to know that's going on in nearly every down school, if not all the schools, period, because that's the only way the squeaky wheels get the oil. And I want to know that is 100.
So Greenwich.
I think
she's going to Greenwich.
Hey, well, she's groomed for it because parents are
where
involved down there.
Where she don't got to beg for money.
No, but parents are heavily involved in Greenwich.
Well, yeah.
But it's interesting. Greenwich
it'd be like hooker school on steroids.
Well, except Greenwich has 2 sides of the tracks.
That's a good point.
A lot of the
yes,
rich
they do.
people do send their kids to the private schools.
No, not all. No. Also,
he said
in public,
a lot. He didn't say all.
Oh, because a strong population in Greenwich that I'm very much so aware of, they go to the public school. They really do. But anyway, you raised a heck of a good point when you said the miscommunication came from the teachers.
Or no, from the principals, because the principals were involved in this discussion. And it seems like that there might have been a lack of communication with the union.
I think there's a lot of communication problems.
There's
anyway,
a lot of that breaking down.
I think if they had a good communication department who can coordinate whatever the message is.
Mm-hmm.
They can't do that, though, because, of course, the natural pain point for people is like, what about those administrators? When are y'all going to cut 25 or so administrators? So that actually made me look this morning after I reread like Chris's story. I was like, a good this is work that I won't be here to do, but I think a good story about administrators and what has happened with administrators. I think there's the website list about 50. Some of those people on that list are no longer in the school system. Some of the positions are listed as vacant. I don't know if they've been filled, so they've not updated their website. So, but it looks like we have about 50 or so administrators. We have a school system about 22,000 people or
That's
students.
Not high. We're not high.
So I wasn't.
Everyone
I
thinks
wasn't,
it's administrators.
And
we don't have a high
so
percentage.
I just don't know what we are in relation to what other school systems have. I do know we're a school system that provides a lot of services beyond just education. There are things that support
so
education.
according to Lisa Mohit,
so you need people to coordinate that stuff.
Margaret Agarwal, who looks at the data for the financial review panel, said everyone always says get administrators. They don't really usually come up with specifics. Sometimes you can't just cut administrator, give someone else a job because it's a grant-funded position that has to report on what you do, or you have to hire people, you have to have human resources, and that we actually don't have more administrators than the average system. But there was a commenter today, I forget what the two jobs were. He mentioned that there were 2 administrative jobs vacant that he felt could be easily combined. One was bilingual.
But they're both vacant, right?
Yeah, like, so they say make it one and
like right now, nobody's doing that
job. Why do they always have to talk? It always have to be the bilingual that they want to.
You know, this is normal.
Why do they always have to do that? I mean, when the truth is that we have more students, more Latino students in the New Haven public school system than any other ethnic group. So why do they always insist on bilingual have to be eliminated?
I agree with you. I think there's probably a need for more bilingual. But when you look at the list, I don't actually see anything. Because I'm like, that position sounds like it's important. For the social work, yeah, I need a social worker at school. But the nurse and clinic coordination, I need somebody.
Do you want someone to make sure reports get filed and how money's spent? Do you want to make sure that people get
But the other thing,
policies?
And I need them to put it on the website.
The other
so I
issue that happens in all of the public schools, they believe that Latino teachers, okay, are only good for the bilingual program, not the mainstream. Because if you look, how many of those Latino teachers are involved in the mainstream? No, they just put them all bilingual. And that's not fair.
And to Norma's point, I think what you're seeing, at least with this shakeup, is going to be people who are like more like, what are your certifications? What are you certified to teach? And you're probably going to have to pick up, like, if you're a bilingual teacher who also is certified in math, you're going to teach English learners in math, and you're going to teach people who speak Spanish in math. Like, you're going to instruct in those things and maybe make that more aligned to the things that you're certified to teach. And I don't know if people are teaching out of their certifications. I don't think they're allowed to do that. But like making sure that you are where we need you most. Like it makes me sad and a little disturbed to think that like people who are like, I think the story mentioned something about social studies students, like teachers, there's a more of a need for math teachers. So if you're a social studies teacher who also happens to have a certification in math, but you prefer to teach social studies, you might not get to do that. Like, we need you to teach math. But I don't know if that means less social studies instruction, which would very much disappoint me.
The question becomes,
what happens?
Although they're
happened?
certified, are they equipped to actually teach in that other?
And if you've been teaching out of social studies, out of math for a while, even if you are certified in it in some way, like, you might not be a good math teacher.
You know, years ago, when did they start adding all these different levels? Okay,
education
years
is full
ago,
of fads.
a teacher was a teacher. Okay,
no, everybody is specialized.
It's just amazing.
But they had to specialize to make money.
Norma, then they started doing these things called computers. You mean? And then
Norma's
like
where's my abacus?
No, Norma's like, bring back the one-room schoolhouse.
I know. Why did they need a bus? When I was a kid, I walked
5 miles
in the 5 foot of snow.
No, we gotta stop giving Norma hell.
And what's this dry erase? We had chalk.
Whiteboard. Where's the chalk?
Where's the chalk?
And you notice they don't do Latino board.
Okay, we're
they
just
do
gonna
whiteboard.
draw in the sand.
Just saying. Okay.
Yeah, they have blackboards, they have whiteboards. Where's the Latino board?
You know where they are?
All these boards are racist.
They're on Pundit Friday, which you're listening to at 103.5 FM, livestreamnewhaven.org.
That is funny.
WNHH, the stories of the week.
Norma's like, I'm going off.
There was another labor story, which is that we had 6 cops we were going to hire because, we need more cops. We're short. And we need more minorities and women on the force. So the 6 cops who were very promising and approved, 3 were women, 2 of them were black women. And they were moving pretty fast in the process. And then all of a sudden, the cops said, the top cops, well, we were going to send you to training academy, post academy, that's statewide academy, because we can't do a whole class with 6 people here in New Haven. Then all of a sudden said, well, we're not going to make the deadline to finish your background checks. So it's all off, and your list is expiring. We spent 2 years trying to become a cop. You're going to have to start over if you want to work here. And we're not going to do these. And all this money we spent on getting you ready, we're not going to do. So their reason was, look, if we rush it, you don't like when we miss stuff. We had the problem with background checks. And there's too much to do. A lot of people were suspicious of it for a variety of reasons. One of which is that they're doing background checks on like 5 times as many firefighters now in the police department. That in fact, they had most of their tests done. And the rest of their tests were scheduled, but not the final background part. And when we check with Post Academy, they said, we give them these deadlines, but if they're in communication with us, we regularly seat the people before it's all in if we know it's coming. So there's always conspiracy theories, if they're right or wrong. Usually conspiracy theories, I think, don't tend out being true. It used to be usually bureaucratic slowness or something. But the name kept coming up in this. The Reverend Boise Kimber's name always comes up. So it turns out his stepson got denied a position on this list, and he was mad because he said, you told us he didn't pay his rent. He paid his rent. He hired a lawyer to fight it. He started showing up at civil service meetings about this list and raising hell. And he got a former police chief to write a letter saying, make Boise's stepson the next cop. He's saying this means the whole thing's crooked. And now you got transition with leadership in police department. We don't know who the next chief is going to be, right? Because we don't have a permanent chief right now. So one thing is leadership got worried with Reverend Kimber, who makes a lot of political fuss about who gets jobs, just making it easier, just throw out the whole list and start over. But other people say, and some people really firmly believe that's what happened. And other people say, no, you hit them if they do it. If they don't, they didn't want to rush with background checks. They said we can wait for 6 cops another year or half a year.
I'm sorry, is this the first time they've ever brought cops through the training? I'm just trying to understand this thinking.
Well, you were on the police commission, so you would know the process. Any thoughts?
Norma's like, I have thoughts.
Well, my thought is that out of the 6 people, see, to me, the whole process of how they've come into the list, how is it possible that out of the 6, they don't have any Latinos? I mean, in an inner city where you have a
Did they
growing
apply?
population,
Did they apply?
that's the problem.
Okay.
How do they recruit so that Latinos can apply?
That's a good
That's
question.
the whole thing.
It's a very
They
good
don't
question.
reach out to the Latino market. They need to really reach out to the niche markets that attract the Latinos.
That makes sense.
They
Can't
don't
argue
do
with
it.
that.
They have to strategically take and
I'm
decide
just
that
looking up
this
the
is
names.
the strategically
Radim
placed.
Kuntz is probably not.
No, none of them.
KUNC.
I read the names.
She's like, I'm looking. No Garcia,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
Menendez.
Wait, you've
Out
met,
of the
wait.
6, not
No,
one
Rodriguez.
Latino.
How do you know Stephen Herbett is not Latino? Like Latino.
Like, what if they have
mom,
like a parent?
But you
who-
know, the whole thing is that
Radim?
we have to strategically, and I know that Hill House supposedly had a program.
Yeah, they have a public
But
safety
see-
academy.
Right, but see, the majority of the people the students from Hill House, where are they from? So now you are strategically going after the African American
No,
police.
Hill House has a growing
I know
Latino
that it's
population.
growing in terms
it's
of
bigger at
Latino,
Wilbur
but
Cross,
it's still,
right?
and they have a lot of racial issues in Hill House, serious racial issues.
What do you
Okay.
mean, Norma?
And so why don't they do it in Wilbur Cross? Why don't they do it in Wilbur Cross?
Because
also?
these are piloted programs that people go and like you have to go have a conversation with Gary Tenney because this is his pet project, right? He went to Hill House
And
because Hill House
Latino
was open.
cops and like the firefighters, the Hispanic Association for the Firefighters, they can all
can do
take
it.
that initiative
And
and work with the
what
Wilbur
does
Cross.
what does Laval's do
But
around it?
but you're saying, how did it happen? She's telling you,
How
Gary
does
Tenney
Laval- what does Laval's
lobbied
do?
for it to happen.
Does Laval's put anything in your paper?
Why should we put anything in the paper?
Why don't
Because
you get the-
that's
give Norma
you
the
reach
mic.
all the people.
Okay, but you
But
know
it's
what?
an
Wait a minute.
issue you
But
care
it has
about.
to do with their whole marketing plan. How do they market the whole reaching out?
I seem to remember
How
ads
is it
placed in
possible
Lavos
that
Hispana.
all the suburban people, come and apply?
So Paul said they have put ads in your paper.
Okay.
Every time they do the recruiting ads, they come in here and take an ad out in Lavos.
So it's the whole thing of strategically
more
planning
ads.
that is exactly what you're going to be doing.
Nothing wrong with wanting more ads, right, Norma?
I think
Snoop
Norma's
Dogg.
right. There's been a big challenge with
No,
Latino
I would
and black
Norma. These
officers.
little
Yeah.
one-line ads, they don't work. You need a full-page ad.
They need to strategically market
That is strategic.
the clients that
Full
they want
page
to
ad.
the people that they want
Double
to
truck.
And then the other thing
Yeah.
also, I mean, just because one time you commit something, you do something, that automatically disqualifies you because they had some serious issues. And I remember I used to speak to some of the individuals that involved in doing background check in terms of how and who is in charge of doing the background check. Because, they would look to the side for whoever they wanted to, and then they would nitpick who they didn't want to. So, all that is also an issue.
And there's also an issue that you're listening to Pundit Friday, where we do
I
the
knew it
headlines
was
of the week
coming.
rundown with the best pundits in the business at WNHH, your home for community radio, 103.5 FM, live streamed to New Haven and Penn.org. Sometimes when there's a murder, we just get a few sentences out. You never really know what the deal was. And then when they make an arrest, and most of the time the warrant isn't sealed, you get the whole story. And Tom Breen had the whole story from the warrant this week when they made an arrest. And by the way, good job, New Haven cops. They promptly made an arrest from a few weeks ago, a murder on in the Hill near Norma's abode at Redfield Street. And there were
You
two
have to
shootings.
tell the whole world about that.
I got two
And
Norma-
like, look, don't be
Hey,
telling
hey,
people what's going on in my
Hey,
neighborhood.
hey, everyone knows what floor I live on.
93rd. Yeah.
That
So
is
Norma
true.
was not present, but here's what happened. It's kind of interesting. So these stories are interesting. So some guy from Seymour, who has a business, run a pizzeria, 32 in Waterbury, he comes to arrange to buy drugs with somebody about marijuana.
Why can't he come open a donut shop?
Marijuana. And
Bring him drugs.
they want to rob him. They move to rob him. He gets all mad.
They
And
did rob him.
So then he went after them in a
$2,000.
truck, and he starts shooting, and he hits one, and they die.
Sir, this is not the Wild Wild West.
So people had a lot of reactions to it, including why are you buying drugs here? Why don't you go to some other community? Why are you
They
bringing
don't
that
sell
here?
drugs in Waterbury?
So I had two thoughts about it. First of all, one commenter pointed out
drugs are
something
hilly.
that just kind of got lost in the conversation. Marijuana is legal in Northampton. He wanted to buy a good amount. I have friends who drive to Northampton, Mass.
Yeah.
to buy marijuana. Why was he buying it on the street of?
Because
The
once you
hill.
'Cause it
cross
was
that
close to
Connecticut
work? I
border,
don't know.
It's not close to where. It's
Once you
Waterbury.
cross that Connecticut
No,
border,
but his business is here in New Haven, right?
No, his business is in
No.
Waterbury. He
Oh.
lives in Seymour. So
Oh.
Seymour's closer to New Haven than Massachusetts, but still,
He must not have got the memo that you can get.
No, but
it's
legal
weed.
He had a friend.
It's probably even better quality.
That he met, right? He had a friend.
That's what happens when you don't want to pay full price.
Okay, because these folks are white that we're talking about. So he had a white friend that told him to come to Congress.
He must have thought he was gonna buy it wholesale.
And so that's why
he's gonna get discounts.
Yeah. You know, when I
get discount,
when you hear the story,
say you likely got a bullet.
Yeah, you know, it's handgun night. Stop playing. You know, when you hear these stories, you're like, you know, what the heck? You try to connect the dots on this, and it just don't add up to me. I'm just hearing one side of the, you know, it just seems like so much
weird. He confessed.
Dear white people, stop coming into New Haven buying your drugs.
You have a whole white state above us where you can buy them for
for free.
Legally.
I mean, legally.
Tolerated in New Haven. The cops look the other way.
No, it's not tolerated. This man going to jail.
How can you sell that stuff out there? How can they come here and feel that they could just come and buy it? It's because the cops are looking the other way.
No. I can't agree with that. I can't agree with that.
But he wouldn't even have the cops in his business had he just gone to Massachusetts. It's like, that literally was stupid. That was just dumb.
But here's the real question.
You're going to jail for like 20 years for like
but you
killing somebody. But when you could have had weed, nobody would have cared. You could have smoked it in front of a cop.
But you can't buy.
And nobody would have cared.
Yeah, but you look at this. You get in your car, you go all the way to Massachusetts, you drive up there. You're only limited by so much you can buy. By the way,
you just keep
people aren't coming
by
home with trunks of weed. You're crazy.
By the time you get to Hartford, you already smoke what you bought. You know, I mean,
okay, that would be dumb. You need to drive like the whitest person you are. And wave at the officers. Hey, y'all.
I got some weed here, but it's from Massachusetts.
You got a brick in the trunk. Nobody's stopping you. You're not black.
Good point.
That was just dumb. He going to jail for no reason.
Although
he must be protecting somebody.
He must be
protecting somebody.
That's what I was getting at. That's what I was getting at. There's something about this story that I smell. You whipped it up.
But that's a good point, though. Like, you're like, that's dumb.
Oh, he just
so in other words,
an idiot,
or maybe he's just really stupid.
No he might be. He sounds really stupid.
No, and those are the best cover-ups.
You know, I was reading one of the comments.
Yeah.
And they said, why on earth did he have diarrhea of the mouth and go and confess so much when what he needed to do was when you get attorney.
Don't you know we make you paranoid?
Because he said, and he would like to know if this guy had gotten an attorney, how it ends up coming out. Because the story ends up coming out totally different than what he said.
It don't even make a difference because, like you said, he's white. Here's how it's coming out. He's walking out.
I wonder if it's the first offense. Does he have a criminal history?
He does not.
No.
Going home.
He getting a bracelet.
Going
home.
But we never tried his pizza, so no, the jury's out on that. But I had another thought about this murder. So it's horrible that 3 people have died in murders in New Haven so far this year. That is very low statistically, even though shootings are up this year quite a bit from last year. They're way down historically. We've had 3 murders. You know, it's interesting. So as soon as someone gets murdered, and we had a horrible murder this week, 28-year-old with a kid in the car. Mm-hmm. Well, we don't know yet what that was all about. But people always say, oh, I guess crime is down. Like, they're being so smart.
I know, I saw
that. People are so smug, man.
But every time there's a crime, they say crime is down. Making that, how can crime be down if there's a crime?
There's a crime.
And it's hard to talk meaningfully about crime statistics. So if you have trends that shootings are way down, which they are, but they're up a little bit from last year, because they vacillate, especially since we're not talking about hundreds or thousands. We're talking about 50 shootings a year to 100. We're talking about 10 to 30 murders a year, which 30 really is upsetting, especially if it's young people who know each other. But also, I'm not sure how meaningful those statistics are. Every statistic is meaningful because it's a human being and we care. And we have higher demands when things get better, which is good. But I think it's very hard to talk statistically about murder because, first of all, we got good doctors in New Haven, right? Mm-hmm. And they get better in saving lives. Second of all, what kind of murders count?
Interesting.
And sometimes, like we had the laundry in the Hill one year, where someone just was upset where they work and they killed 3 people. That's a stat. 3 people, that's a lot. That becomes statistically significant, but it's really not. It skews your percentages so much. That doesn't mean you're unsafe walking down the street, right?
Right.
So, like, when we have murders that get tit for tat with groups of kids, and, you know, we heard about Wilmington, Delaware, where murders are very high, and it turns out it's not about young drug gangs. It's people posting stuff on Facebook and, like, swaggering and threatening and talking about, like, their girlfriends and stuff. And so I think it's hard to talk intelligently about crime statistics. And you have to look at each murder, what it is and what's this larger, and also about how trends are short term. Sometimes some guy like Cody Franklin, this guy went on a murder spree, and then they got him. So we had a lot of murders one year, we didn't have a lot the next. You know what I mean?
I mean, this, I harken back to the Michael McDonald song. What a fool believes he sees. And so, I don't care what you say with the data, whatever. If people's perception is there's some crime going on that is not personally affecting them, but they see it they think they see it somewhere, or they imagine it going on, then they're going to hold to that as
crimes
a truth.
Are real. They are upsetting.
But I think
it's hard to put them
context
in
matters,
context.
right? Like
yeah.
I think people aren't, and I think to Babs's point, like people aren't necessarily interested in context, because what we do with data, instead of looking at the broader picture, the 50,000 foot, like what's really happening here, what we look at is say, I believe that crime is up, and look, somebody just got shot.
Yeah.
We don't say, well, we don't try to like self-modulate and say, well, there's only even though it's, it's May, we're getting close to halfway through the year, 3 murders, while terrible, aren't really that many murders.
And of course, then you can have 5 in a month because someone's going back and forth.
Absolutely.
And then our shootings are up, and that doesn't mean they're up over time. They're very down over time, but they go up. Some of those bullets can hit, like some of these guys aren't shooting well unless they don't want to shoot
absolutely.
well. They're getting the leg instead of the heart.
But I also think, conversely, government officials use statistics to also try to drive home their own narrative. So, we're not using data to actually understand what's happening. Yeah. We're using it to bolster whatever we want to tell people.
Yeah. And that's a very political move, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I simplify this?
Sure.
Simplify.
People, you got to look at the data like you're buying a shirt. No, I'm dead serious. Work with me real quick.
I haven't bought a shirt in a long time.
If you're buying a shirt, and you walk in there, it's the one that you see the shirt that you want, and it has a little speck on it. That becomes the deciding factor if you're going to buy the shirt. I don't want this one, and you start looking around. But then all of a sudden, that's the only one in your size. Then you start realizing, you dust up, that wasn't a permanent speck. You removed it, and now the shirt has a value. That's how you got to look at this thing. Look at this look at the whole shirt. Don't look at it. Did that make sense here?
We're trying really hard to follow this. Yeah. We're really
in other words, don't judge the whole shirt by one speck on it.
Okay.
That's the simpler way to look at it.
New Haven's safer. And it's sad if you got incidents, individual.
See, I feel pretty safe in my town because first of all, I don't buy drugs. So I'm not, I'm just.
But I think also
I'm not buying drugs anywhere. So that's one. So I don't feel like there's an exorbitant amount of
There's so much
crime.
less random crime than there has been in our lifetime.
But that's what I mean, because I came up in the 80s. So
and that's what I'm going to say. Those of you who lived here longer have more context. I've only lived here for 5 years. And so in the 5 years that I've been here, crime has been down significantly, historically low.
You came at a
I came right after,
exactly.
So as it was trending down. Now, I guess as someone who plans to still be living here, I'm like, so where does the trend go next? And I'm interested in what is actually happening. What circumstances have changed for people that, are the people who were put away for the many murders that happened back before I got here, are they getting out of jail? Even though what data does tell us is those people are out of jail, but older, and they're less interested in committing the kinds of crimes that would send them to jail for long stretches again. Yeah. So I don't. It's a matter of what is happening. I did hear
that the shootings that we had, the spurt this year, and again, you can't look at spurts. You got to look at how we're at 50-year lows overall.
But for people who are trying to fight crime, they're like, where is this going?
And they're watching young people who have these beefs that it's really not necessarily about drugs. Like sometimes it is, but
the drug game is not the same anymore.
Like you just said, if you're looking at the data, you're breaking it down, who's coming out of jail and all of that stuff.
You have to look at it in more than that.
But that's what you're
saying.
But that's how you're looking at it. But like you also said earlier, if people just looking at it to how they could push out their opinion on the city, and that's all I'm trying to get at. Instead of
in terms of data, okay, it is used to justify whatever it is that you need.
Absolutely.
For instance, if you want more police force. Okay, more policemen, then you're obviously going to talk about the crime and everything that's being done. If you are a politician, okay, our mayor is going to talk about how crime is down. Elliker is going to talk about how crime is up. So what they do all the time is based on what the issue you want to bring across, that's how you use the data.
What is it saying? There are lies, damn lies, and data.
Statistics.
And statistics.
Yeah.
So
like 103.5.
But if you're interested, you have
to. Yeah.
That's a statistic.
I like that.
And we're on every Friday. That also is a statistic, a true statistic. But I think again, like context is so key. Like I don't know if we're going to talk about this before we get out of here, but the dirt bike story.
Talk about it. There was last night 2 dirt bikes crashed into a car.
They crashed into a car at High End Chapel.
Okay,
and they
those
hit
guys
so
are gonna
hard
be messed up,
that the dirt bike riders flew out of their shoes. Like their shoes littered all over the crime scene.
This like
and the
some
car
kind
and the bike was pressed up against the car.
Some kind of freakish Wizard of Oz scenario.
For the people who witnessed that, I know they're still like dreaming about it. It was so like intense.
Where did this happen?
Chapel and High.
Chapel and
High.
Mm-hmm.
That's downtown.
That's Yale Central right there.
No, but here's the crazy. And everything I love.
And Yale didn't come out
there,
shooting?
Really? I was over there yesterday.
Surprise.
And Caleb and I were having that conversation walking up to my son's old apartment. And we were helping my son move home, and we were walking up. We were talking about. We saw some kids. They were wheeling on regular bikes, and Caleb was like, "Oh, that's better than motorcycles because imagine you get hit with a motorcycle." I said, "Impact is impact." And we were having this conversation when we came out from my son's place. We saw these, which is right on the corner. Right, we saw all of this stuff going on. Now the thing is, are these kids hurt?
They're very hurt.
Did any die?
We don't know.
They're not.
We don't know
as
yet.
far as we know, they're not dead. But they're very
because oh my God, we were having this conversation. Now it's time to get creepy.
You know what Joe was just saying right now. It reminded me of a cartoon that I saw. Okay, and the cartoon was about graduation ceremony, and the speaker. So the president of the university talks about how they do not accept any kind of bribe. They were happy to report that they didn't accept any bribes to bring in, accept students into the university. So the graduation, one of the parents gets up and he says, "Will you accept bribe to make sure that the kids don't come home?" Yours comes home.
The reason why I brought it up in the context of what we just talked about is that. So I don't know what kinds of real statistics we have about dirt bikes, but people's perception, particularly people who do not use dirt bikes, that it's so dangerous for the people in the cars and pedestrians. But we don't really have, at least as far as I know, any data that says X amount of people have been hit by dirt bikes, this amount of police have been injured or whatever. Yeah. But our perception is always that it's dangerous for us.
People are just annoyed.
And they're just annoyed. Also, I think if we looked at some statistics, the dirt bike issue is actually most dangerous for the dirt bike kid.
Yeah.
They're the ones who are really going to be injured. And so we're always worried about who might be injured, but the people who are actually injured are the people doing this very
That's what Caleb and I were talking about yesterday.
And
we were talking
saying
about
dirt bike should be okay.
How did they end up going into the car? Were they racing?
They're not supposed to be on the street, first of all.
Right. Oh, you see those incidents?
No,
we had a video on Instagram.
Yeah, but they're doing
90,
tricks
90
doing wheelies and everything.
90 miles an hour, they go slamming. And we
went 90,000.
Pretty much.
But they're definitely exceeding the speed limit. They're violating laws. And so, we're people who follow laws are we follow laws for a reason.
Drones.
Because they're supposed to. Drones might be our answer.
No.
Because it's good that we don't chase.
Why not?
It's good that we don't chase.
Because it would start with dirt bikes and it'll end in invasion of privacy to the next
That's what people
level.
say about red light camera running.
But
y'all just want to run red lights. Y'all want to violate those traffic laws.
That's the difference.
But Joe, we need conspiracy theories to fuel Joe Ugly's conspiracy appetite.
Well, we could do that too, but without the drones.
Your privacy is already invaded. You're recorded everywhere.
That's true, but
you're being recorded right now on the internet. Look,
Chief Ortiz, when they used to have the Puerto Rican parade here in New Haven, he would close off Fairhaven, okay, because all the dirt bikers used to go over there.
That's not the only time they ride, though. That's not the only time they ride.
If the sun's out, the bike's out.
Right. But this is what I was saying. Yesterday we were walking up the street and we were talking about the comparison. That's what I was getting back to. We were talking the comparison, which is worse, a dirt bike or the kids on regular bikes doing the wheelies.
Oh, have you seen them swarm in the summer?
Absolutely.
Oh, snap. They look like a little thing of bees. There's like 50 of them on little.
Yeah, they call it
dirt.
ride out.
Yeah, ride out.
They're doing these ride outs now, and it's like any nice day, they just all hit social media and they all do ride outs.
And I often wonder if the kids on regular bikes in swarms are like that's the intermediary step before you graduate to the dirt bike. And I don't want to profile those kids, but at the same time, like I'm wondering, is there like, well, I can't obviously get like
gateway.
Yeah, so
gateway
the
wheels.
Gateway wheels.
Hey, talk about context.
But it's the mentality. It's
talking about context and video. State Senator Gary Winfield from New Haven, for years, he's been pushing this police accountability bill at the legislature.
Go, Gary.
And it never passed. It passed this week in the Senate, and people think the reason it passed was because of the context. We just had it within a month. Officers shoot people in Hamden, coming into Hallville,
West.
and in Weathersfield, which was also a really bad shoot. And both were captured on body camera video. And at least in the Hamden case, it was released a lot sooner than authorities usually do because of public outcry. Mm-hmm. So what these body camera videos were supposed to increase accountability of police, but also public confidence in police by getting good information out there. So often the stuff isn't released because they say that could jeopardize an investigation, so it's not serving its purpose. So Gary's bill actually says that in most cases where a cop shoots someone or kills someone or hurts them, 96 hours they want it released. Mm. And that's a good idea. And plus it's saying, and this is about these kind of cases we've been arguing about for years, you are not supposed to run up to a motor vehicle and just start shooting. Remember Lee Jones? That you shouldn't just intentionally put your body in front of a fleeing vehicle unless you've gotten some improvement that's approval that says that needs to happen. Because in a lot of these cases, this is true in Weathersfield, and it happened with the guy in New Haven, and it happened with Malik, where the officer creates a situation by running up to a car, smashing a window, pointing the gun, and saying, "Now I'm feeling threatened," and shooting. So I think Gary's bill is a good one because the police kept stopping it every year, and I'm hoping it gets final passage. And it's funny how context matters. Persistence is overcoming resistance, and that's a good thing. Just keep going at it, Gary. Shout out to Just like Robin Porter, state rep, she got the minimum wage through. She fought that one, and it was way at the end of the house. She stay up all night into the morning to get it through, and $15 an hour. Way to go, Robin. That got signed this week. She got offered that, but I don't know about paid family medical leave. We all thought because Democrats got this huge majority and ran on that issue, paid family medical leave. Now their Democratic governor, Ned Lamont, is standing in the way because he thinks private industry that brought you the healthcare industry, for instance, that somehow that's going to do better.
That was a little shade brought to you by Bob Bass.
Administering this program.
I see you. I see the shade.
Yeah, so
good shade.
Deserved shade.
Deserved.
Here's what I don't understand. From what I understood, that I said on one time I don't understand, but then I said from what I understood. The cannabis bill.
Oh, that's dead.
They didn't even bring it to the.
It wasn't happening this year.
Yeah, it's not.
We thought it was going to be that year, but it's not this year.
I thought they were going to go gangbusters for it and be like, we got to get it done this year because we can't get it done.
Well, the hemp bill went through.
The hemp bill went.
Yeah, you can grow hemp and cultivate it. Do whatever it is. But the thing is, why didn't that? From what I understood, was the black and Hispanic clergy that stopped that.
They're concerned about the effect that more marijuana use is going to have on their Todd Foster saying,
on their who?
On their
Todd Foster. They're worried that while they agree with the criminal justice arguments and that it's a racist criminal justice system, the way drug laws are applied, and that's an important argument, they're also worried about the impact it's going to have on people with more people.
Well, here's my worry. They're going to go a special session for tolls, right?
Look, they might finally understand these sermons.
So they might pass tolls, am I correct?
Shade.
So who's going to be the person?
People who smoke pot are not. Really? This is a whole different animal, man.
But no, I want to know when you're paying for these tolls going up and down the highway because we're short on revenue and they keep raising them when you could have raised money from cannabis.
I think at some point we're going to have to honestly deal with the cannabis thing.
And then it's going to kind of be like gonna get tolls in other states. Like we're going to be dealing with the ramifications that there are tolls. People are paying tolls everywhere else.
Yeah.
They don't pay tolls here. People are smoking marijuana all around us, but they're going to drive back to Connecticut.
Instead of buying it at Redfield Street and getting it in a murder.
Exactly.
Bring it back around.
Come to our state. You don't have to kill anybody.
And this weekend, we got a lot going on. This weekend. 55th Freddie Fixer Parade.
Yay. And if you want to get in gear tonight, you can come to a jazz event, right?
Yes,
at the Elks Club with Jesse Hameen.
$10.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna
be
go
there.
Swing by there, and then I'm gonna go to Lyman because they're celebrating Grover 75, Grover Washington
that's
Jr.
nice.
75.
Nice.
So yeah, we go to that tonight.
And then there's a Dragon Boat Regatta and Food Truck Fest on Saturday. And that's become, I think the city's done a good job. Jackie James, who worked for the city, did a great job creating that Food Truck Festival and getting a lot of people involved.
It's still very
And the
popular.
staff has followed up with some really good rules to have order, but also opportunity.
Whatever. The New Haven Documentary Festival is going on too.
That's a big one. That 3 on Police. There were 2 aired last night and one next week, including New Haven Police.
Police a
Shannon
hot
Campbell.
topic.
And Arts and Ideas is starting. A lot going on.
Yeah.
Lock and load.
And then Markeisha Ricks has a wonderful story today about Annie Gallman.
Yeah,
has
she's
her-
a
No, I thought it was.
100.
What was the story you were going to cover last week that we did?
The Amistad. Can we? No, we're not
Babs
talking
is
about them.
like-
Never
We
mind.
can. We can.
No, I just have one thing to say. I need that whole board to resign. That's it.
I
all I
concur.
I co-sign.
I concur. Yep.
Just
Uh,
resign. I don't got to
resign.
yell at them. I was like, oh, y'all resign. Just drop your
quit.
little I quit letters off, and then they
And
can
be
get
out.
it. Then maybe they can resurrect like the Phoenix and become actually a decent school.
I
I
don't
don't
even
know,
want
instead
it
of
to
a
come
prison.
Back. Don't even want it to come
I don't
back.
really want them to come back
For
either.
what it
but-
sounds, everything I've ever heard about this place, it's a pathway to penitentiary.
Yeah.
Faster than weed on the
Or
streets.
somebody's therapy
They
chair.
cannot convince me that they care about black kids.
No, absolutely not.
I'm not convinced
Totally
Amistad, what is it? Amistad Academy?
Yeah.
Amistad Academy cares about black kids. I
At
am
all.
not convinced. They don't need to convince me
When
because
you
I don't have
tell
any kids
kids-
in that school, I guess.
When-
But I'm gonna own every black kid over there, and I'm
There you
gonna
go.
feel for them. And I feel for the parents who think that that's a better alternative. Because I get it. Parents want their kids
Structure.
to have a decent education. We
Yeah.
all want that. We've
Right.
been wanting that since we've been in here
Right.
in this country for 400 or 500 years.
Yeah.
We've all wanted better education. But that mess over there is
Pathway
not
to
a better
penitentiary.
education.
If you're gonna punish someone for every single thing that they do, you're not treating them as humans.
What
as
you're
human
getting
beings.
them ready for is
It's
prison.
prison.
And I
Exactly.
know a little something about prison. So I'm not just talking out of school. I'm talking about what I know.
I hear you, sister.
And so they need to, I just, the fact that they allowed this principal, or what is he? Is
He's
he
like
the
a vice
principal?
principal.
To
Yep.
carry on in such an egregious way
Yep.
and put his hands.
On
See,
kids.
had that been my child, I would have driven my Traverse through that building. But that's just me.
And Joey would be right behind you.
And then
in a
that
Beamer.
whole board sort of goes into executive session
Yeah.
to continue to cover this foolishness
Yep.
up.
Yep.
I don't care who you are on that board. You ought to look in the mirror and say, I don't care about black kids
They
because
don't
I
have mirrors.
allowed this.
They're vampires. They don't have mirrors. Are you kidding me? The way they suck the blood out of these kids, it's disgusting.
I just
Shout
I
out to
just-
the consultant because even though they narrowed the scope of the investigation of that whole thing, she just gave it to him straight. She was like, "Look, like y'all got problems.
A lot of
no,
problems.
you just got problems.
And they've
man.
had
y'all got
problems
problems.
from day
Yeah.
one.
Yep.
And y'all
Exactly.
have problems with this specific principal, but y'all have other problems that y'all won't let me look into." Is
Yeah.
basically what that
So-
consultant
Look,
said to
I
them.
had
I was
a-
like, "Whoa."
So
I
if
had
I
a
know anybody on that
14
board, I'm side eyeing you, and I think you don't give a damn
You
about
deserve
black
it.
kids.
I had a
Preach.
14 going on 15-year-old over at my program like a few years back. This kid started wetting the bed because of dealing with that school, and it's ridiculous. And I had a conversation with this parent, but they have to believe.
So watch, everybody will be like, all those white folks on that board or whoever's on that board will start that. Oh, I care about black kids. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
You know how you don't?
Yeah.
Because you allowed this to happen.
Right.
Like you didn't deal with it, and then you went
Thank
into
and
executive
as far as we
session,
know, they still not dealing
and
with
still
it.
not dealing.
We don't
with
know
it.
what they're doing. We only know what they tell us.
Thank you.
Shout out to
And
Chris
God
Keith
help
for-
those black parents who think that that's a better deal for their kids. Sorry, I'm not sorry.
And
Sorry.
you raise a hell of a point. You have
Stop
parents,
apologizing.
you have parents who honestly believe that this. Listen, corporal punishment is not a form of discipline. We need to just understand this. This mass. No, I don't believe it. Not as kids. Not the kids.
I understand parents wanting a better
But see,
education for their kids.
Corporal
You know,
punishment.
I understand that.
What's
I
that?
understand that.
Not for these kids.
You know what it is? You have kids coming in from different countries, and in their countries, that is the way they have learned to discipline. So now they come
Does
here, they have to
not-
unlearn that, and it's
Does
a process that they
not
have to go
make
through.
that right.
What are you
But
talking
they're not
about?
asking to be beaten.
A
What
lot
you-
No.
of Latino countries, that's the way.
Okay,
they discipline
no,
their
no.
kids
Amistad?
through corporal punishment. No. He
you know
just
what?
mentioned
You
about
want to know what?
corporal punishment.
You want to know what, Norma?
I don't
When
think
I
they
was
have
a kid-
corporal punishment, but
When I was a kid in
he
Trinidad,
was just laying hands on people.
when I was a kid in Trinidad, yeah, they used to beat you. But you want to know something? I hated every minute of that school. I did good as far as schoolwork went, but it was terrible. My sister could tell you, I literally,
Joe, we trying to end on a nice note.
Yeah.
Well, I did love. He hated every minute, but I loved every minute. Pundit Friday, which ran over today, and we didn't even get a chance to say. We didn't even get a chance to say that Markeisha Ricks is starting a sabbatical. She'll be back on this show, but she's not going to be writing articles in the Independent. She got 6 months sabbatical, which I'm so happy she's going to have the opportunity to fly free.
Mm-hmm.
Because we love Markeisha.
But she'll be back periodically on.
I will be back periodically.
So her seat is saved, and don't nobody run up on us asking if they could sit in it.
No,
you can't.
no, you can't.
Also, don't nobody be running up on Paul Bass talking about he fired me. That's not what happened.
Really?
Read my column. Don't be spreading that ridiculousness. I know how y'all do.
Thank you.
Stuff gets back to me all the time. Like, stop it. Don't do that. Like, my boss is great. I love him.
Oh, we love Markeisha.
I just
Everyone
can't
here
work here
loves
right
Markeisha.
now. I need a break.
Yeah.
Gotta have some good naps.
That's right.
Some
All right.
travel. All that good stuff.
Well, we wish
You
you
gotta get
the
away
best.
from the ugly bastard.
We wish you the best. At
Thank
flying
you.
free, and hoping everyone can fly free. So thanks for joining us today in Deadline New Haven. Thanks to Pundits, Babs, Rosavi, Markeisha Ricks, Norma Rodriguez Reyes, who's still brewing the replacement of chalkboards with whiteboards, and Harry Jones. We're gonna take it out with the Afro-Semitic Experience performing "I Wish I Knew How It Would Feel to Be Free" from the group's CD, "A Plea for Peace." This is Paul Bass inviting you to fly free with us all weekend long at WHH New Haven's home for community radio.